Hey everybody, so in today's video I'm going to show you just the stitch out on this particular design. On a previous video I showed you me doing this design. It's the same design, but this is the vinyl version, and I did this one. It's just heat transfer vinyl, and I cut it on my silhouette. So the same design was digitized for me so that I can embroider it in thread, because we know embroidery lasts forever. Maybe not forever, but for a very long time. So the digitizer I used is Hassan Zebaway. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Stay tuned. Okay, so the products I'm going to be using, pretty much the same as the last few embroidery videos. I'm going to be using something different here though. This is sheer, polymesh sheer. Got a label in here somewhere. Yeah, sheer stitch fusible polymesh, but I'm not going to fuse it. You can see on this side, which is the side that goes against the inside of your shirt, it's got the fusible ability on it, and then this part goes on, it's gonna rub up against your skin. But anyways, I'm not gonna iron it to the shirt, but I'm gonna be using this as my stabilizer. And so I'm just gonna cut some, well, let me see here, how much do I need? This is the 8x9 mighty hoop, and let's see here, I needed to make sure I was gonna have enough as far as the width was concerned, because I might have had to switch to something else because I didn't know if this was wide enough. But okay, so this is what I'm gonna use. It's the outside. I'm gonna put this so that the shiny part is gonna actually come up against the shirt. And I don't have those little hoop holders, so I'm gonna be using a little bit of painter's tape to tape this down until I get it hooped. Okay, now as far as the shirt is concerned, this is just a sweatshirt that I got from Walmart. When I do finally get some, I need to iron this real quick. When I do finally get some shirts listed on my website, they won't be the Walmart brand, because I'm going to have to be able to buy these in bulk year round. I don't have time for, oh, I can't get this in stock, or I can't get that in stock. So see here, I'm gonna just iron this real quick, just because I want to make sure that these wrinkles aren't going to be a factor. I do want the seam going down the center, because I use that to mark my center line. And I'm kind of rushing this because I want to get it ironed, but the thing's not even hot yet. I can hear the steam coming now. But I just don't want any extra wrinkles to be in there for a while, you know, while I'm stitching it. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, now I ended up going over that seam. I'm not going to worry about the other wrinkles. It's just about where the design is going to be. So I'm going to fold this sweatshirt back in half again so that I can redo my seam center mark. That's got some good steam going now. Okay, let me get this unplugged, because I am done with the iron for now. Okay, let me get this out of the way before I burn myself. Okay, so now as far as where I want the design to go, different people will have their own measurements as far as where they like for their items to go, as far as the design placement. My goal is to get this at least 2 inches from the bottom of the neckline. I was looking for a guide that I had at one time. I thought I put it back with my other stuff, but I don't know what I did with it. It'll show up as soon as I get done with this video. But anyways, I want the top of the design. Let me do it like this. About 3 inches down. So I want the top of the design to hit, maybe I'll go about 2.5. I want the top of the design to hit right about there. So I am going to get a little bit of chalk, and you don't have to do this. This is just me talking as I go through how I do it. And I'll mark it right there. It's just enough so that I can see it, but it'll brush, or I can just dab it out when I'm done with this, okay? So now, when I put this on the hoop, I'm actually gonna put this on the machine with the neckline facing forward. So this is a Tajima side that I'm using. I wanna make sure that this is facing me, however I position it. So I'm gonna put it in from the bottom of the sweatshirt. And I'm gonna bring it up high initially, just because I wanna see where I marked it. These little black lines, I put those there so that I can see with thinner items, I can see my center lines. But obviously I'm not gonna be able to see through this sweatshirt. And I'm just trying to get it in that ballpark. And I have it marked on this end as well. And so I'm just gonna see if I can kind of line my fold or my crease over that little mark there and hold it in place to try to keep it from shifting. Okay, so I did not realize when I was actually putting the hoop on that I ran out of space on my memory card, and so the actual hooping part didn't get recorded. But basically all I did was lined it up using the black marks that I placed on my hoops so that I can line the creases up against them and then just hoop it. And then I did go back on the inside. I removed all the tape so that I wasn't getting, you know, tape and everything stuck up in there. So now I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm going to try to make sure I'm still recording, and we'll get this stitched out. Okay, so we are over here at the Juki Tajima side, which is the 12. I wish it was 12. Did y'all hear that Floridian slip about my dreams? But it's an 8 needle embroidery machine. I am going to put the shirt in here so that the neckline is over the arm. And let's see here. I'm going to get it in there and make sure it's not caught up under here because I don't want it to be stitching to itself. So it's where it needs to be. Now I do have this design saved to the memory on my embroidery machine, so I'm just going to retrieve it, or attempt to retrieve it from the memory. I'm going to turn this light off so that the screen can be seen. And so the design is a favorite. It's the only favorite I have. And I'm going to hit set. So now it's facing me, which is where I need it to be. And I am going to just make sure that laser is in the center there. The crosshair should be in the center. And I have the color, it's a single color, so it's going to stitch out just that one single color. And it looks like it's about 29,000 stitches. So I'm running this machine at 700, which is fine with me. And so I am going to go ahead and start the steps so that we could get this stitched. I'm going to hit set because that is the color that I want. This is a mighty hoop. This machine does not have a mighty hoop setting, and you cannot set the mighty hoop settings into this machine. So I use the largest hoop available, which is tubular 1, and I make sure I trace everything to be sure that those crosshairs don't come anywhere near the frames, because you don't want to mess your machine up, okay? And so it's set at tubular 1. I'm going to hit set, and it's going to go from the center. That's the center of the design, which is where I want it to be. It's at the center there. Then I'm going to hit set. I don't have any adjustments that I want to make yet, but I am going to trace, okay? So tracing is executed, and we're going to hit yes so that it starts tracing. Paying attention to the crosshairs here, just because I don't want to mess my machine up. And I want to look at that one more time, because I do believe that the crosshairs come just in the spot where the top of the design is. So yeah, I'm going to trace one more time, and I just want to take a good look under there. I don't know if I could get y'all to see that or not, but from the angle I'm standing, this is my chalk right here. And yes, the crosshairs go right through it. So I should have it pretty much on the dime as to where I want this to be stitching at, okay? Okay, so now I'm just gonna press start, which is this start button, and we'll start stitching. And you all know I don't record the whole thing while it's stitching. So I'm just gonna let this stitch, and as it advances, I will check back in. So it is all done sewing. We are not going to stitch this again right now, but we will take this off of the machine and take it back to the table. Okay, and so just in case you're wondering why my machine didn't cut these jump stitches here, it's because of that jump stitch setting. I had changed it back for a different project and I forgot to change it back to 3. So let me see what it's set at right now. Okay, on this machine, to get to the jump stitch, you're going to go to settings, going to hit this here spool that looks like thread. Then yeah, my jump is set at 6 for now, but I need to just go ahead and change that back to 3 again. And it'll cut the jump stitches the next time I stitch out a design that size. So I set it at 6 because with certain designs, if the satin stitch is too long, the machine thinks that they are jump stitches and it'll cut it. So when the machine thinks that like bigger satin stitches are jumps, it'll literally stitch here, cut, stitch here, cut, stitch here, cut, stitch here, cut. So I didn't want it to do that on not this design. I don't know if it'll do it on this design or not, but it was a different design where I was doing a big monogram. And so to keep it from cutting all those satin stitches as if they were jump stitches, I set the jump stitches at 6, but I forgot to change it back for this project so that it'll actually clip these jump stitches that are shorter. So anyways, let's take this off the hoop. Okay, so I took it off of the hoop and I'll show you the inside. This is that sheer mesh stabilizer, and I'm just going to go through and trim it out. And just getting it close enough to where it's just not all over the place. Without cutting the design or cutting the sweatshirt, because this was honestly like a almost 40-minute stitch out just to get this here design stitched out. And that's why I don't record all of it stitching. That's why I don't record a lot of the designs that I show stitching out completely, because it's so time consuming, and I'm not sure that people really want to just sit and watch the needle go back and forth. If you all do, I'll just do some videos just showing the stitching. I don't know, but that's just part of the reason I cut those videos, try to make it shorter so it's not so long and drawn out. But I'm just going through here, trimming around. And after a wash or two, this here will soften up. You can get it closer, or I can get it closer. And then what I will also do, after I get the jump stitches and everything trimmed, I'll press it. And then the pressing, because it is that fusible stabilizer, it'll stabilize it. And it'll be flat up against the back of that. I don't know, there's a little pucker in there. Maybe when I iron, it'll help that out a little bit. We'll see in just a minute. So I'm going to just go through and clip these jump stitches that my machine did not clip because I had my settings changed. I think that's lint caught up under there. And sorry, I'm not talking a whole lot during this. I'm just clipping. Okay. So we're almost done with it. I'm just gonna iron him out. I'm not sure if that design is too low or not. It may have been a little bit nicer looking up a little higher, but we'll see. Now, while this is heating up, let me just tell you a little bit more about this design. This design is the embroidery version of this design that I did in a previous video. Of course, because this was a SVG, I could blow it up and cut it at a bigger size because the silhouette cameo does cut almost at 12 by 12. So I did it a lot bigger on this shirt, which is just a long sleeve t-shirt. And this is the size that it was digitized for. I did not resize it. I know that you can resize designs. I have resized designs in the past and I will in the future, but I just didn't want to take a chance at this not stitching exactly the way I needed it to. So I didn't resize it. There's a little bit of that jump hanging there. This is why changing those settings so that the machine does the cuts for you is very important. Making sure that they're correct. But okay, I think my iron is hot enough. I forgot to clip the inside jump stitches and definitely want to do that. I'm not sure if it actually does happen, but I have, heard people talking about the risk of, if a little kid is wearing a shirt and the jump stitches haven't been clipped from off the inside of their designs, the jump stitches can injure their fingers if they, some kids fidget and get their fingers wrapped up in things. So I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not ever trying to find out. But I just went through and clipped all the jump stitches to make sure that none of them were connecting. Okay. And so I'm going to iron this down. And my table is squeaky. This is that Sullivan craft table with the ironing pad added to it. And every now and then I just try to remind my viewers that I'm not actually ironing on my cutting mat. This is a gridded ironing mat that's on the table. And I got it from Joann Fabrics. It's by Sullivan. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know if you all could tell that there's puckering there, but I can see it. And this is part of the reason why I don't iron on other people's clothing or customer provided items. Because if I mess it up, I need to be able to replace it. Okay, so this is the embroidered version. The design, I was supposed to have told you about this design, right? The design is the SVG that I had created using Silhouette, which is a whole long story. But I use public domain images and fonts that have the specific disclosure that you can use it for digitizing, which I haven't found a whole lot. I don't know where people are finding fonts that they're able to digitize, legally per the creator standard. But anyways, Hassan Zebaway is who creates the design into a embroidery file for me. So he's the one who digitized for me, and I think it's Zebaway, but look on Facebook, look for Hassan Zebaway. You'll find him. You can look in any of the embroidery groups because he's awesome. But anyways, that is who did this file for me. I love the details in here. He's got the details in there. And I specifically wanted this to be a flat feel with a border, and he nailed it. So anyways, this is it. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. No, I have to thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.